Greg.
And I'm Billy.
And we're the Fuji Guys. Fuji Guys are going to do a video today on a first look for our new S-Series cameras. So the S-Series cameras that we've had traditionally are very popular in the market. They have kind of like this DSLR look to them. They usually feature a long zoom. So they've been a very popular style camera for families, especially ones with active children doing sports and things like that. Not exactly, you know, an over-the-top professional camera, so it's not too hard to use, not too complicated. But if you want great pictures and you want to have access to a long zoom, this has kind of been the go-to style of camera. So I'm going to call it the S-Series video today, Billy, because actually there's a few different models of this camera. There's a few different models that have different zoom powers, and a few different models that have different megapixel ratings. So the one in Canada that we're selling, for the record, is the S4200, the S4200, and the S4200 has a 24 times zoom and is a 14 megapixel. But again, there are a few different variations. Yeah. No matter which the model in this new series, however, the buttons are all going to be in the same spot.
That's correct.
So when Billy goes through all of the positioning of the buttons and tells you what they do, it's going to be the same for no matter which of the S-Series
And
models.
even the features as well are very similar in terms of the different shooting modes, as well as the controls and everything like that. So let's just take a quick look at this camera here, and as I show you around, of course in the front you have the Fujinon lens. You know, depending on different lens you have different ratings on this, of course. You have the AF assist lamp on the front here as well. And just beside it here, of the lens on the right, you have the microphone that records the audio for the HD video. If we take a look at the side of the camera here, you have the pop-up flash. Okay. You also have the speaker, and that allows you to play back your videos and hear audio in the camera itself. That has a strap there, so you can attach the included neck strap. On the opposite side is the opposite side of the strap holder right there. You also have access to the ports via the USB to download images, and also the HDMI output, so that you can connect it to an HD TV using an optional HDMI cable to play back both your HD video or photos on that TV.
Nice TV.
Okay, so that's on that side. If we take a look at the, bottom of the camera, you have the standard tripod socket. You also have access to the battery door, and this camera uses 4 AA batteries. It comes with just alkaline batteries, so we highly recommend you pick up a good set of rechargeable nickel metal hydride batteries that will allow you to charge it and obviously save the environment, but also save you a lot of money in the long run.
And they're very reasonable, reasonably priced these days, for sure.
You also have a slot there for a memory card. It uses a standard SD card. The SD card is not included with this camera, so it's one accessory that you actually do have to pick up. It accepts both the SD, SDHC, as well as the SDXC cards, and really they only differ in terms of capacity. But you know, this camera recording HD video, we highly recommend you pick up a Class 4 rated card or higher. Otherwise, if you plan to do a lot of HD videos, the recording might be interrupted because of the slower speed card. So again, a Class 4 or higher rated card is highly recommended. Taking a look at the top of the camera now, you have the shutter release button. You can push halfway down to pre-focus and push all the way down to take the photo. You have access to the zoom controls here. You have quick access to the continuous shooting mode, so you can do those high-speed shooting options that Greg mentioned, which was great for doing sport action shots. There's also access to doing some bracketing modes from that button as well. You got your face detection on and off switch right there. And you also have the on and off switch of the camera, so if you hold it down, it turns on, and the lens slightly moves out there. And turning it off just by sliding it over. You have access to the F button, and the F button gives you quick access to things like the ISO control, the image quality in terms of megapixel resolution. So even though, let's say this camera is a 14 megapixel camera, you don't have to shoot at 14 megapixel. Normally you do shoot it at the high, because the capacity cards now, or the SD cards, are so inexpensive. But if you start to run out of room and you're afraid that you're going to fill up the space, you can always resize the option down here so you can get a little bit more shots for that day, of course. You have also options to shoot in standard and in black and white mode as well, which is kind of cool to have. And of course, you have the dial. So the mode dial in SR Auto, basically it's like the auto mode that does everything for you, from doing close-up macro shots to portrait to landscape, or numerous different scene modes that it automatically picks. You also have some more manual modes like shutter and aperture priority, as well as full manual control to do adjustments on shutter speeds and aperture. There's a little LED light here, and that just blinks when it's recording to the memory card or it's charging the internal capacitor of the flash, so that it's ready to tell you when to take the picture. If we take a look now at the back of the camera, you have the LCD screen, of course. The screen is improved a little bit from previous generations. You have access, of course, the electronic viewfinder, which makes this camera very unique from some of the competition, or from, say, a standard point and shoot, where sometimes it's hard to see in bright sunlight, and having the EVF allows you to compose the picture a little bit better. And as Greg always mentioned, it's lots more easier to hold a camera like this than it is to hold it like that, which gives you a lot more stability, especially with a long zoom camera like these S-series cameras. You have a button, the EVF LCD button, that toggles between the different screens, so you can jump between the two. And of course, using the EVF also saves you a lot of batteries, so you can take more photos out of your batteries that way. And
not just for taking pictures in sunlight, but playing them back as well. One of the most popular things or habits that people have with a digital camera is looking at their picture after they've taken it. And it's very frustrating when you're outside and you know you've taken a great picture, but you can't check it out. Play it back in your EVF, you can see it perfectly.
Exactly, not just for shooting. Other buttons, of course, are the access to the exposure compensation button. You have the directional pad. You can navigate the menus up, down, left, right. The menu OK is sort of like your enter key. And of course, in shooting mode, they double up as your flash control. So the flash needs to be popped up before you can actually toggle the different flash modes. You also have the self-timer option there. You can do 2 seconds, 10 seconds. You got your macro shooting option. You have your quick delete option and playback. And of course, you have the ability to kind of do an instant crop option, so that you can crop a photo instantly as you take the photo. There's different options by pushing that button right there, as you can see. Of course, you have your display back button that toggles between the different display screens, from information to some grid lines to not having any information. And of course, you got your playback button to play back all your images that you shot with this camera. So that's just a quick look around the S-series camera for you, if you're interested in trying this camera out.
Okay, that's a great run through, Billy. We'll have more videos on this. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out all the great Fuji Guys videos. Follow this guy on Twitter as well. And until that, next time, I'm Greg.
And I'm Billy.
And we're the Fuji Guys.